Okay, so here's an example. Suppose I had w of Cassi is sine cubed of Cassi plus 2. It's just a freaking Greek letter. Squiggly thing. Really, right? You get to name whatever you want, yeah? So I call this function w because, I don't know, we haven't used a w in a while. And I threw this Cassi in here just to confuse the living daylights out of you. Really, that's actually why I did it. It's just a squiggly letter, right?
Yeah.
So does this thing.
Maybe you just really wanted to say Cassi.
Yeah, and I really wanted to say Cassi, because you guys have seen most of the other Greek letters, but this is probably a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
Simply don't match.
I don't have a problem. What's my problem with this? What are the instructions that go with this? Let's try decompose w of Cassi. Oops, my Cassis are turning into zetas quickly. Into 3 non-trivial functions. It's just a letter,
I
kid.
don't know what it says.
Yeah, that's why I told you. It's Cassi.
No, non-trivial.
What? Non-trivial? Oh, non-trivial just means don't do the dumbest thing. I'll show you what the dumb thing would be. So what are the 3 steps you're doing here to your input variable Cassi? Right? So you start with a Cassi.
Adding 2.
Okay, so first thing is we add 2. So that brings us to Cassi plus 2 lamb.
Then you're timesing by sign.
Timesing.
No, you're putting it into the sign, whatever.
Yeah, you're putting it into the sine function. Okay, so that gives me sine of C plus 2. And my Cassis keep changing to zetas, but
And then cube.
then you cube it. Okay, so that brings me all the way to my original function, right? So W is this thing. You guys see that? From the beginning to the end is W. Okay, so this is me decomposing as a bubble diagram, right? You guys are pretty used to me doing this, I think. So how do I write it as 3 non-trivial functions? So what are your 3 functions that are happening?
Adding 2, sign, and then cube.
Okay, so cool. So let's call those, I don't know. I'm going to call it pig of Cassi
Really screw with this.
Is-
Seek it.
Cassi plus 2. Yeah, don't name functions names that are already taken. Don't do that. Also don't name them C, because that looks like a parenthesis.
Oh, that's funny.
Cool. Definitely don't give your function numbers for
Yeah, I
names.
was just thinking that.
Okay. So I'm going to call this pig of Cassi is Cassi plus 2.
Don't go through that process. Like how you want to go back to that and then to the sign.
Oh, this stuff?
Yeah.
So I just thought about, what if I had an input? So if I was going to put like 3 in here, what's the first thing I would do? Yeah, I would add 2, right? So I'm going to add 2 first. Then what's the next thing you would do? You do the rule sign to it. So that would get me to here. And then the next thing I would do is cube it. So I'm literally just, what are the order of operations I would do? And I'm just writing down each step.
And then it'd be from the C to the sign to the cube and then times that by the
Oh, sorry. Is this your confusion?
Yes.
Those are the same thing. Because that's a convention for how we write powers on sine functions.
All trig functions, right?
Yeah, all trig functions get that. Except for the negative.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Negative 1 means something fun there, but otherwise. So pig of Cassi is Cassi plus 2. What's your next one? What do you want to call the next one? Cow.
Oh, I thought you said cube. I just heard wrong.
You get to name it whatever you want.
No, I just thought I heard you wrong. I thought you were saying something.
Okay. What's your input variable for cow?
The rules.
Cassi plus 2.
Yeah, okay, so the rule for that is sign, right? What's your input variable for that?
Oh, okay.
Like, does this variable have a name right now?
No.
No, it really doesn't, right? You guys see that? This is just the output of the pig function.
Yeah. So if you're renaming pig FPC, technically.
I probably don't want to yet, because I just want this to be sign. You guys see that? So I'm just going to say cow takes x's, because who cares? You guys see that?
So you just call Cassie plus 2x.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I'm actually doing this, I'm really thinking about enacting that on Cassie plus 2's. And what's your third name you want to use? Farmer. Okay, so what's your, you get to name that input variable too, right? What do you want to name that one?
Epsilon.
Epsilon? Okay, that's a shit choice for a variable. Only because we use that for something else later, but we can use it here. That's fine. Okay, so I've got farmer of epsilon is, how does farmer act? Yeah, it cubes things, right? So this is epsilon cubed. And so if I'm going to write W, ultimately I should write W of Cassie is what? So which rule do you do first?
Equals pig over Cassie.
Okay, so first things first, I'm doing pig to C, right? Then what am I doing to the output of pig? I'm doing cow to the whole thing. And then what am I doing to cow of pig? Farmer, right? So if we were going to label this, right, if we were going to read this thing, we'd say we have farmer of cow of pig of Cassie. You guys cool with that? Not at all.
Can you rename it as chicken?
No, I'm not renaming this anymore. Cool. Really, you are making a turducken. You guys all see that? And so the input variable is the thing that goes in the middle, and then the first rule you do to it is this first thing next to it. You just have to make sure that you're unraveling these right. You guys cool with that? So they start on the inside because that's the grouping symbols. Cool? Questions, things?
You give us actual numbers instead of pigs and cows and flowers.
Sure, you can rename this. So if we wanted to do a more serious labeling scheme, right?
No.
Show us to see it solved.
Yeah.
What do you mean solve? This is
Like,
solve.
plug in all
Like
that stuff.
plug in
into that.
actual.
No, that's not part of this. There is no actual stuff.
That's your answer, isn't it?
All I'm doing is decomposing W into 3 non-trivial functions.
I know, like giving us an actual example because obviously this is going to be on our homework and our only example is farmers, cows, and pigs.
Yeah.
So hard to understand. Like if you have an actual example.
So,
Yeah.
so if you want to take all the fun out of this,
Yes.
you can call P of Cassie Cassie plus 2, right? You get to pick the name. Fine. Let me take all the fun. Take all the fun out of this. So P of Cassie is going to be, you know what? Let's take all the fun out of it. We'll call it capital F of Cassie. It's Cassie plus 2,
That's
right?
keeping fun.
Okay, so that was called F because that was my first function. Okay? Then I'm going to do S, and I'm going to leave my variable alone because we're going to be boring. And the second function that we do to Cassie's is sine of Cassie. And then the third function, T of Cassie, is what? Cubing. So that's going to be Cassie cubed. And so then I'm going to rewrite W of Cassie as what? Which one do I do first? F. So I do F of Cassie, and then to that I need to do
Cow.
S. No, we took all the fun out of this. So that was S, and then the third thing we need to do is T. So that's me rewriting this as a decomposition into 3 pieces. You guys see that? Should we talk about what trivial decompositions would be? Okay, so a trivial decomposition would be adding a stupid step. Let me shut this video off.